What up, everybody? It's Voodoo Lillette. Today, I want to talk about teen suicide. The most latest thing that I've seen on Facebook, and I've seen way too many of this, was a kid who had committed suicide because he was gay. Well, I can't completely 100% pretend that I know what you're going through because I'm straight. You know, um, if you're wondering about the makeup that I'm wearing, well, it's more of a trademark. I do makeup via whatever segment I do, so, just deal with it. A lot of people have been up in arms about bullying. They're trying to throw laws in for this, that, this, and the other. Well, the problem is, our generation, not so much mine, but the generation after that has gone soft. All right. I understand that you're getting bullied. I understand that, you know, things just aren't going your way. And what I'm hoping to do in this segment is, maybe get some of you teenagers out there who don't feel like they have anybody they can turn to, trying to get your ear about these things. I might not have been teased for being gay, but trust me, I was teased for everything else. I was the fat kid. I was the ugly kid. I was the poor kid. I was, hell, I was teased for not being racist, if you want to believe that, because I had black friends. So believe you me when I say I was teased, and I know what you're feeling or going through, I know what you're going through. Back in the day when I was in high school, I tried so hard to impress everybody else. I would go home crying because somebody teased me for one thing or another. I remember I had pictures of basketball players in my locker, and I had rap music on my locker and everything. And one thing in particular somebody had told me that still stuck with me to this day was somebody told me, if I wanted to be black, to go ahead and color on myself with a permanent marker. And all that had to do with the fact that I had NBA players and rap stars in my locker. That was it, because I didn't listen to their honky-tonk music. But throughout life, I did everything to try to fit in, and I cared what people think, and I let my feelings get hurt. And then one year after 10th grade, I was moving to Texas. And I had decided for once in my entire life, I'm not going to care what people think. And let me tell you what had happened at that point in time, I somehow, some way, got popular. I was one of the most popular kids in that school. And it was because I was different. I wore what I wanted to wear. I dressed how I wanted to dress. I had my makeup how I wanted to have it. I said whatever the hell was on my mind, and I was not afraid to stick up for myself whatsoever. In fact, I remember one time there was this member of the Blood gang. Actually, I didn't know this at the time, but I'd really become popular after I stood up to them and said, "You got something to say? Why don't you come over here and say it to my face in the middle of class?" People had respect for me. So if you're a kid who's getting bullied for being gay or whatever, walk around with your head held high. Okay? Be proud of who you are. There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. In fact, if you walk around and acting like you're proud of who you are and somebody comes up here and tries to tease you, do one of two things. Or do one of a few things. One of the biggest thing you can do is kind of look at them like they're dumb, first of all. And you tell them, you say, okay, so why exactly does your opinion have anything to do with me? I mean, why the hell should I care? And, that's how you do it. You do it with kind of this, like, you always completely look at them like they're stupid. Kind of have this look like, are you fucking serious? Shake your head, do whatever. And they're going to try to tease you a couple more times after that. But eventually, what is going to happen is if you don't give them the response they want, if you don't go running away sniveling and crying and everything, they're going to give up. Because you're no more fun to pick on anymore. They can't hurt your feelings, so they're going to move on to the next person. Because let me tell you something. And this is something I learned. I didn't realize it when I was in high school, but I realize it now. There is a life outside of high school. Trust me. Believe me. Especially in college. I'll tell you what. You might think you're alone. You might end up in a school. Let me put it this way. My very, very best friend in the entire world is gay. And I love him to death. He had one hell of a hard time in our school once he came out of the closet. But he had told me, when he was in college and everything like that, he was all alone in high school, yeah. But in college, you know, he wasn't the only gay guy there. And so he was able to have friends who had things in common with him. And there were people there who accepted them. Once you get out of these small little podunk towns, or you get out of high school where everybody's, you know, so stuck on what's popular and what's this and what's that, and you actually have a bigger array of people who aren't even worried about that. They're only worried about passing college, getting through college and getting a good job. You're not going to get teased for that. And your life will get better. I promise you this. All you have to do is give it a chance. Because you never know what you could be missing. Your life might suck in high school, but that's, you know, that's kind of a part of life. Not everybody can be born to be Miss or Mr. Popular. You know, that's just the way it goes. And the bullying, as much as it needs to, will never stop. You know, we can sit up and picket and say, stop the bullying, but it's in a kid's nature. It doesn't matter. They're going to keep bullying, and if you allow yourself to be a target, they're going to pick you. But if you stand up for yourself, you're proud of who you are, and you don't snivel away, and you toughen up and you take it, and you get out of high school, I promise your life is going to be a lot better. One, you would have lived through a lot. It's a great learning experience. You know, another thing is, you know, why try to follow what they do? Why are you even worried about what they are doing? Because all they are is a bunch of mindless zombies who are following what society thinks they should be. And you know what? If a lot more people were free thinkers and who were who they wanted to be, and, you know, just be themselves, the world would be a lot better of a place, and it can only start with you. You know, don't be afraid to be who you are. And don't let anybody tell you any otherwise, that you have to be this way or you have to be that way. Like I said, you know, this is going to be a little bit cruel of, you know, harsh love on my part. It's just toughen up and take it a little bit. You know, just sit there and remember there is a life outside of high school. That life is a lot better, because I promise you, teenagers and adults are two totally different worlds. Once you reach adulthood, you're going to look back at all that and you're going to wonder, why in God's name did I care? You know, one thing that you might actually want to do is, if you live in a town where, you know, you need a little bit of support or something like this. My friend and I were talking about this today. You know, maybe come up with this thing called the Gay Straight Alliances. They have them in many, they have them in a lot of schools, some in colleges and stuff like that. And the wonderful thing about it is, if you're not really prepared to come out of the closet, you don't have to tell people if you're gay, straight, or bi. They're all mixed in all together. So if you're still afraid to come out and all of that, it's all in the good, but you'll still have support. And in that group, you'll still make friends. So, you know, and you have to know that some of those people that are in there are going through the same thing you're going through. And all you can do at that point in time is be there for them. And that could give you a purpose in life all on its own. Another thing you have to remember is, think about the people that you're leaving behind. I mean, do you really want to leave your parents behind like that? Leaving them wondering what they could have done differently in order to save you. Do you really want to leave your friends behind? You know, I mean, there are plenty of people, I promise you, who care about you, who are going to be devastated if anything were ever to happen to you. And do you really want to sit there and think about that? I mean, I think committing suicide is the #1 most selfish act anybody could ever do. Because even though, you know, you're a dumb teenager right now, and I'm sorry I had to say it, every teenager is dumb. Y'all are just stupid. I mean, you know, I've been there, done that, and I'll admit I was a dummy. But, you know, don't make those rash decisions, and sit there and actually think about it. Think about what the consequences are going to be, what the side effects are going to be. You know, the fact that your parents are going to have to put you in the ground one day. You know, that's a parent's worst fear, is they don't ever want to have to bury their child. So all you have to do is walk through that hall tomorrow, or whenever you watch that video, walk through that hall with your head held high. Look at those bullies like they're stupid. Let them do whatever they had to do. In fact, fight back if you have to. I'm not talking about a fist fight. I'm talking about just standing up to them and be like, for real, y'all are just dumb. knock this shit off. You just have to kind of get this attitude like you don't give a fuck. And I promise you, it happened to me. Like I said, I was the fat kid, the unpopular kid. Everybody hated me until the one day that I walked into a school building and I acted like I just did not care. Nobody could tease me. And so that's what you all have to do. We need to stop this teen suicide thing, and you all need to sit there and think. Trust me, I promise you this. You are worth it. This is Voodoo the Let out.